Hey guys, my name is Mayana. Welcome to my core. Today we're going to be doing vlogmas day 7. I've been doing this for a whole week now. Like, has it been a whole week? It's 7 days, so that doesn't matter. Today I'm going to be doing a anticipated releases video, but this is going to be the worst anticipated releases video you've ever seen in your life. Okay, I literally have my iPad. I don't know what some of these books are about, so I'm going to do my best to look them up. Oh, I do have these in order by month. So the first book that I am excited for is Dragon Curse by Elisa Kova. I read multiple Elisa Kova books. I've never given one 5 stars, and I don't know why I keep reading them. I guess because she has such good ideas, but her execution just isn't as great. I love dragons, and every time there's a book with dragons, I'm like, oh, I have to read this. So Dragon Cursed, I guess it's about this girl who's dragon cursed. I'm not gonna make this sound interesting at all, but I guess it's about a girl who has her dragon curse, and I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds interesting. Next we have Playing for Keeps by Alexandra Boulafleur. This book isn't showing up on Storygraph, so I'm not even gonna try it, but I've read Alexandra Boulafleur. These books both come out January 6th, so the very beginning of the month. Then I have Oxford Blood coming out January 13th. And what I remember about this one is Dark Academia. This one is a good girl's guide to murder meets Ace of Spades, a YA thriller where a girl has to navigate a cutthroat world of academia and uncover the truth of her behind her best friend. Relating this to Ace of Spades is fascinating. How to Lose a Goblin in 10 Days comes out January 20th. It's a comfort read fantasy romance between a halfling and a goblin. Imagine a classic opposites attract rom-com taking place in the cozy scenes of Hobbit Shires and the Rings, except magical forests, interfering wizards, lots of home cooking, and maybe even kids at the harvest dance. This I feel like sounds interesting, but I am not a cozy fantasy person. I keep trying. I don't like them. I'm gonna keep trying just because they have such good ideas, and I think that I could find the one for me. Neck on this is so weird. I do think I could find the one for me, but I don't know, hopefully this is it because this sounds fun. Then on the 27th, we have Sister Savage, Not Quite Dead. It is a devilishly clever tale of murder, intrigue, and existential crisis. This is by... Nope, that's not the same author. Alright. Anyways, in February, we have This Ain't Our First Rodeo, a black romance. I believe this is YA. I don't know if this is YA for sure, but I remember adding it because I want to read more cowboy romances, and I don't think there's any like black romance cowboy romances out there, so I was like, oh, period, I need to read this. This is February 3rd that these books are coming out. Okay, and then I have, I hope I said this right, it's the line, 3 teens infiltrate a magic Ivy League in this heart-stopping Dark Academia romance. The cover is absolutely beautiful. It's Dark Academia. Anyway, Dark Academia is one of my buzzwords. So as long as something has Dark Academia, I'm interested in reading it. Unfortunately. A practical guide to dating a demon. I love like a cozy romance, and that's exactly what this sounds like. Hopefully. Apparently, Sir Cameron Needs to Die. This is a queer fantasy romance about a sorcerer who was forced to protect a cowardly knight after a prophecy ties their fate together. And then we have Quiet Spells, which is a sequel to Divination. I'm very excited for this. Then February 17th, we have A Love on Ice. And this is, I'm really into ice skating right now. Ice skating and ballet are like 2 of my current obsessions for some reason right now. I don't know. And so this one is an ice skating romance, and I'm like, okay, it sounds fun. I just need something quick. Also on the 17th is Crown of War and Shadow by J.R. Ward. She wrote Black Dagger Brotherhood. I believe this is the first book in a new series. An outcast burdened with a curse, a mercenary who's out for himself collide in a star-crossed slow burn, high stakes romantic fantasy. Sounds interesting. And then February 24th, we have The Secret World of Maggie Gray, and this is a published re-release. This is a published release. So this author has indie release, and now it's getting published. And this one is like Dark Academia. I think it has like vampires and all that stuff. And I'm very excited because I am a covers person, okay? And if the cover is not beautiful, I will not read it, even if it's on my Kindle. I have a higher chance of reading it on my Kobo because I have my own cover set, but if I have to look at the cover, I don't want to read it. Don't judge me. I don't know. So I'm glad that it has a new cover because the cover is pretty and I am interested. It does make me want to read it a lot more though. Like, since I can just read it now, but I think I'm just gonna wait to the new cover. The Same Day, Written on Ice. I cannot find this anywhere, so don't know what it's about. Then I have Nowhere Burning. The thing about Storygraph, the thing about looking at books is Storygraph moves faster than Goodreads, but Storygraph doesn't always have everything as fast as Goodreads. I don't even know what this is about. A refuge for lost children may be their prison. And I'm like, I'm gonna look out for that. That one's not like I want to read this super bad, but like I'm gonna look out for that. And then in March we have The Starter X by Mia Sosa. And this one was like audible original that's getting turned into a book. True love begins with a terrible ex and a steamy rom-com. Like, ooh, I love. My like buzzwords are dark academia, second chance romance, older brother's best friend. You can get me to read any book with those buzzwords, clearly. Okay, on the same day, March, You Should Have Been Nicer to My Mom. Demons clash with inheritance claims as the secrets unfold and violence is unleashed over 12 harrowing hours, trapped in a house in the worst thing imaginable, family. I love family drama. Family drama, sibling dramas, doomed siblings, give it to me. Love it. On the 17th of March, we have Inamorta by Ava Reed. Have I liked an Ava Reed? Have I read an Ava Reed? She usually writes YA. I think this is like her first adult book. Oh, I didn't like A Study in Drowning. On an island where the dead walks the earth and the 7 noble houses rule using arcane secrets of necromancy. I love necromancy. Necromancy and alchemy are also buzzwords for me. Conqueror's Blade brought them. Okay, whatever. I don't feel like reading all of this. It just seems like a family drama. And then we have Startup Hell, which I really don't. This one, I've read another book by this author earlier this year and I really liked it, and it was like super fun and such a unique idea. So this one, I don't really care about what the plot is. I just really enjoyed this author's other works, so I'm reading it because of that and not necessarily because like I really care about like what it's about. I just really like the other book by this author. And then we have Wolfworm by T. Kingfisher. T. Kingfisher writes horror. I'm like, I don't know, but when she writes romantasy, I'm like, oh, this is my shit. But because I really like T. Kingfisher's romantasy, I'm probably gonna keep reading her horror books as well until I get some that work for me. So I think this is her horror book release of that year, and I will be reading it. And this comes out March 24th. And then we have Daughter of Crows by Mark Lawrence. This one I think is just like academic or dark academia like book. I did not read his last trilogy, and it's just like they're just so long. I started and then finished it, and they're just so long. And so I feel like if I read this one when it comes out that year and I keep up with it, I'll feel a lot better, and then I'll maybe go back and read his works. But like, I'm so bad at reading Mark Lawrence, and his books are so popular, and I did enjoy what I read of the other book as well. It just was the fact that like I'm just so behind, and it was only 3. I don't know. And then that same day, March 24th, we have Hold Me. And this is a German romance book that's being released in English. This one is about this girl who's a ballerina. I don't necessarily know exactly what it's about, but I'm anticipating because, like I said, I'm obsessed with like ballet and ice skating right now. So that's all I pretty much want to consume. And I'm so sad that this is not coming out right now. I did, in fact, try to read it in German, because I did take German in high school. I know a little bit, so I tried to use the little that I know of German, my context clues, and Google Translate. And with all of that, I read 2 paragraphs and then I gave up because I forgot that other language don't speak in the same structure as we speak in English. So not only did I have to decipher what they were saying, but I also had to like put it in order to make it make sense to me. And I was like, oh, this is a lot of work. Why don't I just wait until the book comes out in March? So that is what I'll be doing. And then the 31st, we have A Widow's Charm. And I don't know, the title itself just sounds really cute. And we also have Still Gods by Richard Swan. Have I read the first book in this series? No. I plan to have read the entire trilogy and the first book in this series by March 31st. Can I make that happen? Probably not, because I am absolutely terrible at reading trilogies, but I am going to attempt to either way. And then in April, on the 7th, we have Year of the Mer. And I just want to read this one because it's a mermaid book. I don't know what it's about. I don't really want to know what it's about. It has mermaids, and I want to read it. And then we have The Book Witch, which I don't know. This actually comes out the 4th, but I have it under the 7th because I have all of mine under certain dates. And when books on Tuesdays, I always download all of my books together, like everywhere I request them on Libby on Tuesdays. So it just makes it easier if like there's a book that's not coming out on a Tuesday that I just shift over. And so this one comes out on the 6th, but I'll probably download it on a Tuesday. This is a cozy romance type of thing. I don't really know if I'll read this, but I put it on here because I might be in the mood for it in April, but I don't really know if I'm gonna read this. I'm not a cozy girl, as we've talked about. April 14th, we have Invasive Species, and this one says the women in Coal Harbor all have something to prove, and they'll have to do it in a world full of monsters. And I'm like, ooh, looks interesting. And then on April 21st, we have The Aquarium's Object of Love, and I love this series. So far, I've given both books in this series. This is the academic loves, or love academic series. I love the first book. I love the second book. I think the second book is my favorite. And I actually do have an arc of this, but I am so terrible at reading arcs right now because for some reason they aren't being sent to my Kindle. And I did email the Kindle people about it, and they did gaslight me and tell me that my Kindle's working fine even though it's not. So I can read it through NetGalley on my iPad, but I don't like reading on my iPad because it's huge. And so there's just like this huge thing. Okay, I do have Kobo, but they don't send to, some books don't send your Kobo, so it's just like a lot of stuff going on here. So I have not requested an arc in a while, but I do have a lot of arcs. Right. So then we have Witch Queen Rising, and I'm excited for this one. I don't even know what this is about. I'm excited for this one because the cover looks so great. It's by a black author. The main character is black because just because the book's by the black author doesn't mean the character's going to be black, I've learned as of late. So yeah, I'm very excited for that. And then I have April 28th, an Arcane Study of Stars. This is by the author of A Honey Witch. This is a historical dark academia fantasy filled with ancient secret societies, a swoon-worthy rivals to lovers romance, and a dangerous deal made after dark. This just sounds like the perfect book for me. But hopefully, I know people like were really excited for The Honey Witch, and then it came out and it was just like bleh. So I'm really hoping that this one is good because I am really excited for this. Like, these are like my buzzwords because rivals to lovers is also a buzzword of mine. So I'm excited. And then on April 30th, we have Mocha by Monica Kim. Monica Kim wrote The Eyes Are the Best Part. That's one of my favorite books that I've read this year. Don't even know what Mocha's about, and you know what, I don't care. The Eyes Are the Best Part was so good. I don't need to know what any of her other books are about. She's just going to be an automatic read for me. And then this is when it gets sparse because, you know, they tell you what's coming out at the beginning of the year, but not really at the end of the year. So in May 5th, we have The Library After Dark. And then May 19th, we have The Portendance Peril. And that is the book by this author. So that's this author's newest series. Have I read this author yet? No. Do I own a bunch of books by this author? Yes. You know what? I'm not reading anything right now. I should just read this author today because I'm not reading anything. So that'll be my book of the day. I'm saying book of the day like it's not gonna take me like 5 days to read this, but I'm gonna give this book a try because I don't want to be like super behind this author and then I like never read it. And you don't have to read them in order, but whatever. And then July 21st, we have The Witch Below the Dreaming Wood. And this is by the author who wrote The Scholar and the Last Fairy Door, one of my favorite reads so far this year. And then I do have to read their book released for this year called A Far Better Thing this month, hopefully. And I just think this author is going to be one of my favorite authors of all time. Like, their writing is so good. I love they write stuff that's surrounding like fairies and witches and stuff like that. It's not necessarily cozy, but it kind of is at the same time. Like, it's just like literally, I love this author, literally perfect. So yes. And then in August, we have Immortal Game by Alison Schiff. Have I read an Alison Schiff before? No. I think this is their debut author book. I'm not sure. Then we have Infinite State by Richard Swan, the same author who's coming out with the same author I mentioned earlier, but this one is a sci-fi book, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then we have Dagger Bound, August 25th by Taking Fisher. This is the sequel to Sword Heart, and this is their romantic release of the year. I'm so excited. So excited. And then lastly, August 31st, hopefully, it's either August or September, Deadbeat by Holly Black. I am so excited. This is the final book in the Alex Stern trilogy, my favorite series of all time. Hopefully, if this book is a, hopefully this book is good and it's a 5-star read, because this will actually be my favorite series of all time. If it's not, I'm gonna stop saying that and I'm gonna be really embarrassed. That has happened to me multiple times before, where I've loved a series, the last book has came out and I'm like, bro, what is this? It's taken Leigh Bardugo like 3 years to write this book. This book better be the best thing that has ever landed on my desk. I'm not playing. I'm not playing. She literally has way too long for this book to not be good. So those are all of my anticipated releases for 2026. Thank you for watching.